Good afternoon, everybody. This is James Fifelski with Boss Esquire. And I wanted to share a few thoughts today because there's so much in the news right now about Trump's tariffs. People are getting all spun up about how this is going to affect the economy, what kind of problems there'll be with the stock market, or if there's going to be increased tensions with other governments. And as an attorney and a coach to other attorneys, I want to look at this from one particular angle, which has to do with my passion, which is helping attorneys break free from the tyranny of employment to start their own practices. And what does that have to do with the Trump tariffs? Well, as I'm listening to people get upset, get worried, become afraid, get scared, anxious, annoyed, all sorts of emotions coming out about these tariffs that just hit. I believe it was midnight this morning. And the fear is that prices of things like cars, car parts, if you need repairs, food, things that we import from other countries are going to suddenly jump up 25% because they're 25% tariffs. And it stands to reason. And I'm not here to talk about politics or economics, but I'm here to talk specifically to those of you who are attorneys who might be struggling or frustrated or feel this lack of control by working for somebody else, by working for a law firm or a government agency, and feeling some lack of control. I think ultimately these tariffs bring about this fear and worry because there is a sense of a lack of control. Some consumer in the US has little control, it seems, over the price of goods coming in from Mexico or from Canada or from China or from any other country. And these tariffs get slapped on, and now the prices of things will go up. That could very well be the case. But again, speaking specifically to attorneys, I think one of the biggest challenges we have when we're working for somebody else or when we're working for a large law firm or a law firm of any size, or especially a government agency that can seem so big that we have little to no control over our own work product or our own destiny or our own sense of purpose as attorneys. And I think that's what is being felt by people with these tariffs right now, a lack of control. And when we feel a lack of control, we get worried, we get anxious, we get scared, we get upset, we get mad. But is that really the best way to approach a situation where you may feel a lack of control, but when you dig a little deeper, are you really out of control? Do you have some way to assert some leverage? Do you have some way to change the situation? And as attorneys, if you're frustrated with your job, if you're feeling stuck doing something that you're about to be on the verge of burnout, or you're just not making enough money, the truth is, if you look in the mirror at yourself and say, who really is in charge here? The person that is in charge is you, is me, is anybody who wants to make their life better, even in a situation where they feel like they're losing control. Because the truth is, you have so much more control than you give yourself credit for. You have so much more leverage than you might think you have. You have so much more ability to influence your circumstances than you might believe you have. And especially for attorneys who have gotten through law school, passed the bar, and have been in practice for even a few years. You have so much more ability to be the kind of lawyer that runs your own law firm than you believe you are. And I say that because I've seen lots of attorneys who do open their own practice. And sometimes I wonder how they've done it, but they do. And I say that kind of in jest, but the reality is, if you want freedom, if you want to be able to have control over your professional experience as a lawyer, especially since you've worked so hard to become a lawyer, to get your law license, to practice law, there's no reason you can't open your own practice and run it successfully to make six figures or even seven figures if you really want to. It's just shifting your perspective on taking responsibility for your circumstances, taking responsibility for how you approach the circumstances around you, the things like Trump's tariffs that you can't directly control, but you can assert leverage up against or shift. For example, you don't have to buy a brand new car. If it's going to cost 25% more to buy a brand new car that comes out of Mexico, buy a used car that's not going to have the tariffs on it. If you are a business owner, another example, you have the ability to pass on extra costs to your customers, your clients. So let's think about it this way. If tariffs were to hit and somehow it was going to hit the legal profession, the attorneys running their own law practices will have the ability to take those tariffs and pass them on to clients if necessary, or decide not to. But either way, they have more control than an employee who is simply told what to do and gets paid a set salary. How would it feel if you were an attorney that had the kind of control that even when difficult things happen to you around in the marketplace or in the environment around you, maybe the law changes somehow and that's going to affect your practice? If you are a business owner, a law firm owner, you have much more control over your destiny, over your future, over your money, over your time than you do if you're working for a law firm or government agency. And not that doing those things is bad, but I want to speak directly to the people who are feeling a lack of control and help you feel encouraged and empowered that you have more control than you might give yourself credit for. And I just think if you take the time to recognize the level of control you really do have over your own circumstances, just like all of us who will be dealing with the Trump tariffs and whatever the consequences of that might be, we have control as to what we're going to buy, where we're going to spend our money, to be smart about how we spend money and not just throw away an extra 25% because we want something brand new, or to be more creative or resourceful in how we shop. There's lots of ways that we all can deal with the challenges of the day because there are always challenges and there always will be challenges. And I think if we get caught up in this feeling that we don't have control, or we just want to be upset at the people we think are creating the problems for us, then we assume the position basically of a victim. And that's not helpful. It doesn't change anything. It only gives away power and energy to other people instead of giving it to yourself. If you want to feel empowered, just know what you know to be true and assert that and begin to leverage that as an attorney. So if you're dealing with frustration in the workplace and you want a better legal experience as a lawyer, then look at the real possibility of opening your own practice. Look at what it takes. Talk to other attorneys. Get more detail to really explore the possibility, not just thinking pie in the sky, someday I could open my own law practice, but just really looking at it as a real option because you can do it. And it is so empowering, especially when you have the ability to control your own future and your own destiny. So that's what I wanted to share. It's Fat Tuesday. Hope you enjoy the rest of the evening. Go eat a lot and have some fun. And maybe you'll be in New Orleans and you can have a great time there. I just want to leave you with this, that you have more control than you might believe you have. You just need to assert it. You need to feel it. You need to experience it, make it your own, and go do great things.